Hi everyone. Third time's a charm, isn't it? Um, yeah. So, and I have massive glare, so let's take these off. I'm struggling with my gadgets. I just returned my new laptop because it didn't work properly, so I'm getting a new one. And I thought I need to do a quick video because I'm running late. It's a really crazy day. It's gonna be a crazy week. So I thought, I'll just use my phone. Oh no, my selfie camera doesn't work anymore. Okay, so I'll try with my tablet because it's here, it's in front of me. And that's what, if you've seen me just try to go live, that was with my tablet. So now I'm just using my old laptop. So here we are. What I wanted to, yes, I have a topic. This is me completely chaotic, and you've seen that before, of course. Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about is it's actually this morning I was at university. I was teaching a class, and then two of my students came up to me. And they were like, Miss, and I was like, yeah. And this is the week that they have to write the introduction to their papers. So I got a lot of questions. Like, okay, could you check my what I've done thus far? What do you think of my main question? What do you think of my topic? Is it in line with the course? So I was assuming that that would be the conversation we were about to have. But then the conversation went, Miss, yes, you're moving abroad, right? To Cyprus. Yes. Why? Multiple reasons. Okay. When will you be back to teach us? And that is, of course, it was super cute. I mean, it was very cute. It's very validating in that for the past few years, I've been, one step inside the academic world, one step out. Like I've been leaving. It's a process. Like I've been leaving the academy for quite some time, and it's nice to know that even though I feel like I don't no longer belong, my students still really appreciate my presence, and they're like, we're all okay. Like we're okay with you going abroad, but when will you be back? So that was very nice. It was a little heartbreaking, but also really nice. And my colleague was like, oh. And that immediately got me thinking, and this is why I want to talk about the question that if you're really good at something, doesn't mean you have to pursue it. Because this really got me thinking that if I'm this good a teacher, like, well, who am I to leave the academy? If this is the response that I get, and I've been getting this response for a long time. I've been teaching for the past decade or so. And yeah, it's one of the reasons that it's been hard to leave the academy, because I love working with the students. Like, I mean, some of them, they just, but the good ones, the passionate ones, the engaged ones, the ones that you run across 4 years later and it turns out they're doing the masters in your discipline. Those are the ones that you're doing it for. So it's really hard to leave them. That was also because before I started teaching again in September, I had like a 17-month break from the university due to contract stuff and whatever. It's quite an interesting situation right now, very precarious situation, not just in the Netherlands but everywhere. And that was the only thing. Like, of course, I didn't miss all the emails, but the interaction with the students and that you get to see them become critical, like the whole becoming critical. That's really something that I really appreciate about teaching, like being able to sort of like light that flame inside of them and make them see the world through different lenses, and also make them make sense of the world, because they come to the course, like I teach very critical cultural courses, so they come to these courses because there's something that they feel is not right with the world, but they don't know how to argue that. So they don't necessarily have the theoretical baggage, background to framework to speak up about the things that they care about. And this is what some of the courses that I teach provide. So very grateful, of course, that this is how I am appreciated, but also it got me immediately thinking. So my initial this morning was C. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't quit academia altogether. And then I thought there is a quote somewhere, and I don't know whose it is, and I'll look it up. That if you're good at something, it doesn't mean you have to do it. And actually, this has been keeping up also in some of my coaching sessions. That I have writers who really struggle because they are known for a particular way of writing, or writing a particular genre. But they want to do something else. Like it's like they're done with that. Like it's it was a phase, or it's like I've said that about that, and now I want to move on. For them, what they're really looking for, what they get from me is the like I'll allow them, like I'll tell them it's okay, like you can move on if the next thing you want to write is a completely different genre. I mean, you should allow yourself to explore that. You don't have to stick with it just because other people tell you that you're good at it. That's not really how it should work. And that's something, of course, and that's something that we see a lot these days, that if you're good at something, even if it's like a hobby, people will tell you, oh, you're good at knitting, you should create an Etsy shop and start selling your scarves. Well, maybe you just want a hobby. Maybe you can be good at something and not actually pursue it as a profession. That is allowed. That should still be an option. This day, and I see around me a lot is that people automatically look at how can you monetize that. You're good at something, how can you put money to that, how can you put value to that? But maybe that you're good at something doesn't mean that you always want to do it. See, for me, it's very like I understand the privilege of being loved as a teacher, but also being good at something else and having the choice to pursue what I want to pursue. Like I understand that I have a particular privilege in that I'm good at multiple things, so I can pick. And I don't. I've tried for the past years to combine it all, and it's just not working. So I have to make a decision. And I'm not saying I'm leaving the academia forever. I mean, let's be honest. You never know. What tomorrow might bring, or next year, or the year after. But it's good for now to be able to make that choice. And just because I'm really good at teaching doesn't mean I no longer, or doesn't mean that I have to stay there just because my students like me. Even though, I mean, of course, you can understand how I felt this morning that they came to me and were like, but because because these are all this is a level 1 course, so it means like a year 1 course. So these are all new, fresh students, and you make them enthusiastic about a particular discipline, and then they learn this particular teacher who made me go, this is what I want to do, won't be around when I do the minor or when I'll do my master. She'll be gone, and that's of course. Like I will tell them that my whole department, like I'm from the gender studies department, we're all extremely passionate people. So I mean, that I'm the first they run into doesn't mean that they won't find anyone else with the same passion about the topic. I mean, we're all like that. You have to be very passionate to be in that field, I would say. But yeah, doesn't mean that you need to do it. Doesn't mean I have to do it. It's just good to know that you're good at it. Just embrace it, and use it as well. Like for a long time, I always thought that teaching was something separate from what I'm doing. But of course, I understand. Like when I first started editing, my clients were always like, "Oh, you're the first editor who is so instructive in their comments. Instead of saying change this, I'll tell them you need to change this because." So the next time I got a paper from them, it took me less time to edit their work because I explained to them the rule or the reason, and they became better writers. So I always got that as a feedback from the get-go, that my editors or my editing clients enjoyed that I was very didactic in a way, that I never just told them you have to change this. This is not a comma. This is a whatever. semicolon, or just explain the rules behind it, and then they know, and then they can fix that. And they become better writers. They can sort of like incorporate these rules. So this is my didactic angle. I think I'll always have that with me. And I think that for me was what made me embrace the fact that I can stop teaching at a university, because I'll still be teaching in a way, but just not in that particular, at this moment, very toxic environment. So yeah, so this is what I want to do, and as I said, like I need to make dinner. Looking at the time, I just wanted to say that just because you're good at something really doesn't mean you have to do it. You have to find your own way in this world, and don't, just because you're good at something, let people make you feel that is why you need to pursue something. That's really not the case. Yeah, you need to pursue what you need to pursue, and if you're good at multiple things, embrace it, enjoy it, don't feel bad about it. It is what it is, you know. And you can use it in multiple ways, as I've seen in my life. So give yourself permission to do what you want to do, even though you might be good at something, really good at something else. And it also, and just before I end, that also means that if you're really good at something, but you actually want to do something that you're less good at, but that is the dream, that doesn't mean you shouldn't follow that dream. Go after that dream. With practice, you might become as good at that as the first thing. And if not, it doesn't really matter. What you dream about, that's what you pursue. It doesn't really matter what else you're good at. That's my message for this week. Next week, I'll talk to you from London City. And I have no idea about what yet, but we'll see. Have a good week.